Hello again, everybody. Diamond Jim's 45 here. Welcome back to the channel on a glorious August 19th, otherwise known as Eddie Gaedel Day. Today in 1951, Eddie had his famous plate appearance for the St. Louis Browns. He pinch hit for the leadoff hitter Frank Saucier in the second game of a doubleheader against the Detroit Tigers. And believe it or not, he walked on 4 straight high pitches, as Eddie Gaedel was only 3'7" when he took his plate appearance for the St. Louis Browns. A little backstory on Eddie. He was born in the mid-20s in the Chicago area, and he part of the war effort in World War II. He was a riveter, and he was valuable as a riveter because he could get into spaces that were smallish and tight and do a lot of riveting that a lot of other normal sized people could not do. He was used by Mr. Veeck before his plate appearance in another doubleheader. I don't know who that was against, but Mr. Veeck and Falstaff had a promotion in which Eddie would come out in a cake and come out of the cake in the middle of a doubleheader. Now, when somebody comes out of a cake, I have a different idea of who that might be other than Eddie Gaedel, but so be it. So Mr. Veeck had used Eddie before. Eddie came up to the plate with his contract and a roster of the current Browns team with him on it, just in case the umpire asked for it, and the umpire did. So everything was above board. He got his uniform from Billy DeWitt, who was a bat boy for the Browns at that time, and they put number 1/8 on the back of it. And Mr. DeWitt is now the chairman of the Cardinals. And the joke is that 1/8 is how much Mr. DeWitt uses of his wallet to get Cardinal free agents. Also, when Eddie came to the plate, he was instructed by Mr. Veeck to not take the bat off his shoulder. If he did, Mr. Veeck assured Eddie that there was a man with a high-powered rifle in the stadium that would shoot him if he attempted to swing. So like I said, Eddie walked on 4 straight pitches that were high from Bob Kane, the Tigers pitcher, who later in his career became a Brown. Eddie, on the way to first base, stopped and took off his hat and bowed twice before he got to first base. When he got to first base, he stood completely on it. Both feet were on the base, and then he was pinch run for by a fellow by the name of Jim Delsing. Now, if there's a silver lining to this story, Jim Delsing made a lot of money later in his life signing autographs at baseball card shows because Jim was the man who pinch ran for Eddie Gaedel. I always wondered what would happen if they didn't pinch run for him and the next guy would have like doubled or tripled. That would have been interesting to see. But anyway, that's pretty much how it went down. And then Eddie kind of did a lot of circuses and stuff later in his life. And the problem with Eddie is that he had beer muscles. And Eddie would start drinking and start thinking he was a lot stronger and a lot bigger than he was. And he'd get into a lot of fights and a lot of scrapes, and that would shorten his life. Finally, he died of a heart attack at a youngish age, but he'll always be remembered as a St. Louis Browns pinch hitter, and then he was taken out for a pinch runner. So yes, today is Eddie Gaedel Day, August 19th. It happened August 19th, 1951. And Eddie Gaedel in the baseball register is listed as a right-handed hitter and a left-handed thrower, which is very rare. I can think of a Cardinal in the maybe about 15 years ago, a fellow by the name of Ryan Ludwig, who hit right and threw left. And of course, Ricky Henderson hit right and threw left. So that's pretty much the story for Eddie. He'll always go down in history, in St. Louis Browns history. The Browns drew 18,000 that day in a season where they only drew about 300,000 for the entire year. So that was a pretty big deal, that doubleheader against the Tigers. So I hope you like this story. I hope you click like. Hope you click subscribe. And I hope you comment. And once again, so long for just a while.